Welcome to my homestead, y'all. I'm your host, Jenny Velicky, also known as the Funky Farm Girl. I'm working to create a home with a little farm, a little faith, a lot of food, and a bit of funky. I'm learning all about growing and preserving our food supply, raising chickens and children, and becoming more self-sufficient while leaning hard on Jesus. And I want to take you along for the ride. So grab yourself a cup of something wonderful and let's visit a while. Hey y'all, welcome to the Funky Farm Girl. I'm your host, Jenny Velicky, and this is episode 35, Homemade Homestead Holiday. This is the fourth in our Homestead Holiday series, our fourth and final episode. If you haven't been able to listen to the first three episodes, No More Harried Holiday, Homesteader's Wish List, or The Minimalist Guide to Gift Giving, I highly recommend that you go back and listen to those once you're done with this episode. But to all of you, welcome back. Thanks for being here. As always, before we start in with today's episode on Homestead Homemade Holiday, I want to give you an update on what's going on our homestead. So because it's wintertime, we're kind of in a hibernation mode, and other than Christmas, we're really not doing a whole lot around here. The biggest news this week is that two of our Isa Brown hens have begun to lay again. And that's really great for us because right now we just have little Hazel, my black copper Maran, is the only one that's laying any eggs, and she lays one egg a day every day. And other than that, we have ceased all egg production here, and I've had to actually start buying them at the store again. But with these two little Isa Brown hens laying, we know that two of them are laying, but they don't tend to lay on the same day. So we usually get anywhere from 1 to 3 eggs now a day, which is a little bit of a blessing. Not nearly as many as when we have everybody laying, but we're thankful for the few eggs that they're giving us through the winter while the rest of the ladies are taking a little break. For those of you that don't know, eggs are a seasonal food. When the daylight hours start to shorten, the hens don't have everything that they need to keep laying through the winter, and so nature has given them a little break, and they get to take some time off and spend most of their time just keeping warm. And so most of them will begin to lay again in the early spring when the daylight hours start to increase and the weather starts to warm up again. So that's it for the update on our homestead this week. Now let's get into today's episode. I'm sure that if you're like me, you've started Christmas shopping, you may be almost finished like I am, and inevitably, though, at some point during the Christmas season, you're going to run into someone or a situation where you are supposed to have a gift and you don't have one. Maybe it's that you forgot to buy something for a friend that you're going to have lunch with that you don't see very often. Maybe it's you got invited to a last minute party and you need something for a hostess, or you get done shopping and realize, oh, I don't have anything for my kids' teachers or my neighbors or the mail carrier. Or maybe you've always wanted to give gifts to all of those people, but buying all of those individual things seemed to be just really cost restrictive and hard to do, and so you've skipped out on it even though you really would have wanted to do something for them. So I hope that today's episode is really helpful to you in helping you come up with some really economical last-minute gifts that you can give just about anybody, especially someone who needs just a small, quick gift that really, because it's handmade, is going to let them know that you really care about them, and that you took some time and effort to think of them this holiday season. And really, that's what's most important in the holiday season, is that people feel loved and valued, and that they know that you've thought of them. And so we're going to go through some homemade gifts that you can do yourself. Some of these use some homesteading skills, but a lot of them are things that, even if you don't homestead, they're supplies that you can get pretty easily, or they use things that you have around your house. And so I'm hoping that these will really, really give you a lot of good ideas. Now, I will tell you at the beginning and again at the end to remind you, but I have a Pinterest board called Homestead Holiday on my Pinterest account. I'll have a link for that in the show notes. And every one of these things that I'm talking about in today's episode, there is at least one pin on that board for each of these things. So if one of them really strikes your interest and you're like, ooh, I really want to try that, go to the Pinterest board and you'll be able to find at least one pin that will give you some instructions and get you started on making that particular gift. So with that in mind, let's get started. I've divided all of these gifts into one of three categories. The first category is bath and body. The second category is food. And the third category is just our miscellaneous. So let's start with the bath and body products. There's a lot of different things that we could do to help teachers or friends or neighbors or a hostess feel pampered, and to help them, encourage them in self-care and spending time on their own care. And so all of these gifts are made with those kinds of things in mind. These are also great little stocking stuffers for teenage girls or moms and grandmas and things like that, nieces and aunts and all those women in your life who love a good spoiling. And honestly, guys are going to appreciate a lot of these too, so don't throw them out with this category. First of all, let's talk about our lips. We know that every winter the air is drier, so we're licking our lips more often, and so what happens? We end up with dry, cracked lips. So what better gift to give than a lip balm or a lip scrub, or better yet, a combo with the two of them in one little container package. So lip scrubs are very easy to make. There's a lot of them that can easily be done with things that you already have at home. Most of them are a basic mix of sugar and oils, like an olive oil and a sugar mix. And really, you just need something that's a mild exfoliant, but also a moisturizer to clean up the dead skin and soften the lips, so that then you can put on a lip balm, which is going to protect their lips. And that again is just such a simple mix of just a few ingredients, and then you allow that to cool or harden into either a chapstick type container or a little metal tin. Those kinds of things are really easy to find at your local craft store, and they're not very expensive. And so you could really make several of these with one batch and have lots of gifts to give to the people you love. Another thing that we love in the wintertime is soaking in the tub, right? And so two great gifts for that would be either a milk bath mix or bath salts. And both of these, again, are super, super easy. As I said, there's several pins on my Pinterest board, Homestead Holiday, that really give you the directions of how to do this. But a milk bath is just going to be super moisturizing and relaxing for you. And then bath salts are going to be a really good way to soothe aching and tired muscles. They're also super great for a foot bath. So if you're maybe giving somebody a foot spa for Christmas, you could also make up a batch of bath salts to give them. And really, it's just a mix of Epsom salts and maybe some dried flowers or herbs, maybe some essential oils, and that's basically it. It's a really, really simple gift. You put it in a beautiful jar or a container and put a bow on it, and it's going to make a wonderful, easy gift. Again, there's recipes for both of those on the Pinterest board, so be sure to check that out there. And maybe you have a friend who is all into the bath bomb craze that's going on. These are especially really good for teenage girls. Teenage girls, for some reason, love the bath bombs. We have a whole collection of them at our house, and my girls are always wanting to take a bath and use a bath bomb. If maybe bath bombs aren't your thing, maybe you're like, I don't have a tub to soak in, or maybe my tub's not comfortable to soak in, or you're just not a tub girl, I highly recommend shower melts. Shower melts are basically a smaller form of a bath bomb that sits in the corner of your shower and dissolves and releases aromatics into the air while you're taking the shower. So it works its way into the steam in your shower. They're really, really good, especially for clearing sinuses, or you can use all kinds of different essential oils to uplift the spirit, to clear your sinuses, to help you relax, any of those types of things, depending on the oils that you're using. But those are a great way to just add a little something extra to a shower, and those are things that practically anybody would enjoy. They're super simple to make, and again, you can find directions for those on the Pinterest board, Homestead Holidays. Then if you want to get just a little bit more involved, you could try your hand at body butters or body scrubs, or even homemade soap. Soap is so much easier than it sounds, especially if you are able to go and get the melt and pour soaps and molds at your local craft store. They sell drops that will turn it whatever color you want. You can get scents to add to it, or add your own scents with essential oils. They have things like pulverized walnut shell, or things like that you can put in it to give it an exfoliating. I'm planning this year to make a lot of soap and use my loofah from my loofah gourds that I grew this year, and give those to several different people. So I have a basic melt and pour soap that I'm going to be using with that. Super easy. Again, the body butter is basic ingredients that you whip together and put into a container that they can use, and a scrub is essentially going to be the same thing. You can use scrubs with sugars, with salts, or even with coffee grounds. So those are some really good, unique gifts, primarily for women, but really, honestly, there's some guys in your life that are going to be appreciative of something like this too, especially the shower melts that are built for like congestion and things like that. My husband really enjoys those in the wintertime. So now that we have the body covered and pampered, let's move on to the belly, and let's talk about food gifts. So the first one right off the bat that most people think of when it comes to homemade food gifts for Christmas is what? Hot chocolate. Yes, hot chocolate is a big thing in our house. I was so glad to go to the local Amish bulk food store this week and find mini marshmallows. It was such a great thing to be able to find that to add to our hot chocolate, because we go through quite a lot of it in the wintertime. So a good hot cocoa mix is going to be super easy. It's going to use basic ingredients that are easy to find, and it's going to make a large amount very quickly. And then it's just a matter of finding a cute container to put it in. Buy some mason jars. Use some that you have around your house. Put a ribbon on it, maybe a little square of fabric under the ring of the lid to make it look cute. And there you go. You're done. Resist the urge to put a mug with this. Most people have 500 gajillion mugs and really don't need another one. If you want to add something to it, add something like the little dehydrated mini marshmallows or peppermint sticks or something cute like that, rather than a mug that they probably already have more than they need of to begin with. Another great and easy idea is seasoning mixes. These can be anything from dry meat rubs to a dip mix to salad dressing, taco seasoning. What kinds of foods do they like, and what kinds of seasonings would go with that? You can find all kinds of ideas. I have several that are on that Homestead holiday board, so be sure to check those out on Pinterest and do a quick search. There's a lot of them if you're looking for a specific thing. And these can even be mixes for things like hot drinks, that like a Russian tea mix or a mulled wine or herb blend that you add to wine and heat up on the stove, or a chai tea mix, anything like that. Those are all super easy things to do, and seasoning mixes are usually something that you have most of the ingredients already in your house and you just need to mix them up and put them in something special. Next on our list is Christmas candy. Is there any particular Christmassy treat that your family makes every year? Whether it's Christmas cookies or whether it's chocolate-covered pretzels. For years, we made these little things that we called Holly Jollies. And it was basically the chocolate bark, the melting chocolate that you find in the store, the almond bark, that comes in either the vanilla or the the vanilla or the chocolate. And we would just buy mix-ins like nuts or dried fruits, cranberries, raisins, peanuts, those types of things, and mix in and make like little candy clusters that we would then, mix with the melted chocolate and put into mini muffin cups and let that freeze and harden up. And then you had all these little chocolate candies with their own little wrapper around them, and we would just make a little bag full for each of our neighbors. So Holly Jollies are super easy. Another thing that we make every single year now is called Buckeyes, and they are super, super simple candy recipe that is basically peanut butter, and powdered sugar, and you mix that together to form a type of a dough, and you roll it into balls and then dip it into chocolate, and it makes what looks like a Buckeye nut, which is the symbol of Ohio, but and that's why they're called Buckeyes, is because they look like the nut Buckeyes. But they're basically chocolate-covered peanut butter balls, and they are a favorite of ours every year. So just think through a simple Christmas candy that you could make and maybe double the recipe, make a lot of it, and then divvy it up and pass it out to friends and neighbors, visitors, hostess that you go to see, that kind of thing. Another super easy thing that my husband started doing last year is spiced or sugared nuts. My husband has a recipe for cinnamon pecans and a recipe for cocoa dusted pecans that he started making last year and has already been talking about making this year. And so that's another good thing. Make sure the person that you're giving it to doesn't have a nut allergy, of course. But otherwise, it's always an appreciated gift, and especially the spice nuts will be a great needed balance to all the sweets that they may be eating through the holidays. So spiced or sugared nuts are another good option for a food gift that you can make. How about a baked good? Is there a pound cake or a quick bread or a type of cookie that you're known for that you could make a big batch of and divvy up and pass out. Or maybe traditional bread. Do you make good sourdough or just a regular artisan bouillie of bread? Is there a sweet bread that you make that's wonderful? This would include things like cinnamon rolls. Maybe you deliver pre-formed cinnamon rolls to your neighbors the day before Christmas Eve so that they have something to bake over the holidays. Another thing that we have received and really loved was sausage bread. And this is a bread that, if you think of something like a stromboli, but it's filled with, the dough is filled with crumbled sausage and cheese and herbs and things, and then it's rolled up like stromboli and then baked in the oven. It's a great savory bread to have with breakfast or as a snack, and it's been a great gift that we've loved receiving from friends of ours. Rounding out this category, there's 2 more things that you can do, and that is, number 1, home canned items. Do you have jams or pickles that you made this year, or another type of canned food that people would enjoy? Could you pair that with a couple other things and then maybe give them like a ready-made kit for apple cobbler, or maybe you do a thing of jam plus a loaf of bread. Something in that area that would be a way to give something that you've canned and share your bounty with other people. And then the other thing is a stovetop potpourri kit. And I know we did these one year and they were super, super well received. You could either do, a lot of them are based on oranges and cranberries and cinnamon sticks, and maybe a little bit of cloves or star anise or something like that. And we would put all of those items into a cello bag. One year we did sliced dehydrated oranges, and one year we actually just put a whole orange and a handful of cranberries and then the rest of the things in there. And then you can tie a little tag on there that tells them how to use that, what to do with it, so that their whole house can smell like Christmas. There's a pin for this also on the Homestead holiday board on my Pinterest account, so be sure to check that one out. That's a really unique one that most people don't think about, but it's pretty inexpensive and pretty quick to put together. And again, it's a consumable gift, so it's not something that's going to add clutter to their home either. And it's something that will help them to get into the holiday spirit. Now, last but not least, we have our miscellaneous category. And obviously, whenever you say homemade holiday gifts, if you're not thinking about hot cocoa mix, you're usually thinking about Christmas ornaments. There are a lot of easy, super cute Christmas ornament ideas on Pinterest. I pinned a couple of my favorites on the Homestead holiday page, so be sure to go and check those out. Anything from little gnomes to button trees to just lots of different little easy things. You could do something as simple as slices of wood from a tree in your yard that fell maybe through one of these storms and you have some firewood out there. Do wood slices and put 2020 on it, or paint their name. Do something real simple like that. There's lots and lots of different ideas on that Pinterest board. Another gift that has been a huge hit for us, Gracie one year made these for all of her aunts and grandmas and all those people in her life, and for friends too, I believe, was a hot and cold pack that you can put in the microwave or in the freezer. And this is just a super simple piece of cloth in a rectangle that is filled with either rice or flaxseed or corn. There's lots of different fillers, and one of the pins on the Pinterest board actually talks about what makes a good filler for these. And there's even a no-sew recipe on there, no-sew pin on there for this idea. If you just are really bad at sewing, but you think this sounds like a great idea, go check that out. But basically, these packs we keep it in our freezer. We keep it in a gallon-sized Ziploc bag just so that it doesn't absorb the smell of the foods that are in there, and so that it stays clean. And we keep it in the freezer so that it's cold, and you can use it just like you would an ice pack. Or I sometimes will get headaches that come from neck spasms, and so I can put it on my neck where I'm having a spasm, and it helps with that. They're also good warmed up in the microwave when you need a warm pack. For example, if one of the girls has a tummy ache or something like that, we can warm that up in the oven, in the microwave, and then put it on their belly, and that warmth helps to ease their pain. So, hot and cold packs are an awesome idea. You can even, I think there's a pin on my board that is for a lavender vanilla eye pack that would be used for going to sleep or for headaches or things like that. But it's specifically for your eyes. And one last super easy homemade gift idea is a candle. It's very, very easy to find simple candles that you just melt and pour. And you can use things like old candle tins or empty small jelly jars and things like that to make really simple, beautiful candles. And I highly recommend that you check that out, especially if you have essential oils and things that you can scent it with, that just make a lovely little candle that's a quick and simple gift to give. Last but not least, if you find yourself without a budget and without a gift, and you really want to acknowledge someone this Christmas, can I just encourage you to give them a card, and in that card, take some time to write out what that person means to you, how thankful you are to have them in your life, what kind of impact have they had on you this year, what are you thankful for when it comes to your relationship with this person. I promise you that that note will make their day, and they will not care that there's not a gift attached to it. That's going to be more meaningful to them than anything you could go and buy them at the store. So, if you do not have a budget and you don't have the time and you just don't have any other option, or maybe you do have those options and you decide that this is the best option, take the time to write someone you love a note and let them know how they really how much they really mean to you. I think especially this year with COVID and our struggle to have physical connections with people, that being able to tell someone how you really feel about them and help them see how much they really mean to you and how meaningful their friendship or their relationship is to you is really one of the best gifts that we could give this year. So I highly recommend the personal Christmas card with a note inside. So that wraps up our homemade homestead holiday. And it also wraps up our 4-part series on a homestead holiday. And I really hope that you have enjoyed this series, and I really hope that it has helped you to have, 1, a less harried holiday, and 2, that it's helped make Christmas just a little more meaningful and helped you simplify it in ways that really helped you to enjoy this season more often, more deeply. And so if you have missed out on any of the episodes, go back and listen to our first episode was No More Harried Holiday. That really helps you to de-stress and simplify your Christmas celebration. The second one was a homesteader's wish list that really, as aspiring homesteaders, if you are a little lost on what you could ask for to help grow your skills as a homesteader, that's a great episode to listen to. And if you're looking to buy without giving a lot of clutter, you will want to check out last week's episode, A Minimalist Guide to Gift Giving. And then today's episode on our homemade homestead holiday. Again, one last time, I'll tell you to go check out the Pinterest board, Homestead Holiday, on my Pinterest account. You can check the show notes for that link. And as always, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Connect with me there and let me know what you're doing for your homestead holiday this year. I just want to wish every single one of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Next week, we will be talking about how to get a jump start on 2021, and I hope you will join me. Until then, see you next time. Thanks for stopping by, y'all. If you're inspired by what you've heard today, the best compliment you can give me is to share the Funky Farm Girl with your friends. You can stay connected by following the Funky Farm Girl on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Until we meet again next week, remember to bloom where you're planted.